Okay, so Tommy, congratulations on this. It is spectacular. I connected
Thank
with
you.
it so much. How difficult was it to be able to tell the story in such a manner where it feels universal? It feels like everybody is able to connect with this and follow the story and be emotionally attached to it.
I very much appreciate you saying that. And it was hard. It really was. I mean, it's the sort of thing where there's no roadmap, and the the dance of figuring out how to tell the very complicated story of what happened in 1978, the lead up to the event, the aftermath, trying to figure out how to tell it, where to get the materials to tell it, while also being cognizant of the parallel stories and the pacing and all of it. It was it was a lot.
Definitely, you're telling history through a very personal story of this family.
Yeah.
And I think that helps a lot because everybody has family. Everybody's able to connect with that. Um,
I think that's
how did
exactly right. I think so. Sorry to cut you off, but it was never meant to just be a history lesson. It was never meant to just sort of look back at something. These things are continuing to happen, and they also have very real emotional ramifications. And Mike is the emotional center of this project, and it is like he's the proxy for so many of us, and he's the sort of person where, at least like if in that situation, I hope that I could have his strength, and I hope that I could continue to push and fight and sort of be the loving, happy person that he is despite all of it.
and how did this story come to you in the first place?
I grew up in Philly, and in Philly, you hear about Move a lot, but you don't really hear about Move. You don't really know the details, and I didn't. And so at some point, I just started researching, and throughout that research process, I realized that I still needed to know more. And so I had a buddy make an intro to somebody. And when I went to meet with Ramona Africa at a small little cafe in West Philly, Mike had come along with her. And Mike and I hit it off, like I was saying earlier, just very easily and quickly, and learning his story, learning that he was born in prison, learning that his parents were still in prison along with the other Move members. Well, the seven of them, because two of them had since died in prison. It really sort of opened up my eyes, and to know that he just wanted his parents home and was trying and willing to do whatever it took. For me, there was something very special in that. And so, based off of our friendship, um, which developed quickly over the next couple of months, it just made sense for me to start shooting. And that's what I did.
So, what was it about his story that really connected with you, that really made you want to tell it?
I, my dad wasn't around. And so I never met him growing up. And I also had a difficult childhood with my mother, and she wasn't around much for other reasons. And I think it was just, I always wanted sort of a regular family growing up. I just wanted my mom and dad there. And it's funny, I both never really thought about this nor said this, but I think that's just so much of what I connected with, where he just wanted his family. He just wanted his parents home. And then on top of that, as somebody who cares about so much of what's happening and has been happening in our country, the understanding that the things that Move fought against, police brutality, wrongful incarceration, systemic racism, those are the same things that we're fighting against now, same things we were fighting against when I started shooting this. And so the combination of those two very powerful things was enough to get me to just sort of spring to action. Good
What
question.
kind of call, what kind of call to action are you hoping that this movie or this documentary sends to the nation? Because there, like you said, there is a lot of social justice issues coming up and a lot of activism that needs to happen.
So very true. I think that the sad reality is that while what happened in this movie, in this doc, happened 40 years ago, this could have very easily been 40 days ago, and nobody would have been surprised. It also can very easily be 40 days from now or 4 years from now. And so to understand that the same things that we're fighting against today, they were fighting against 40 years ago, where's the progress? And so something has to be done. We have to address the systemic issues, not the surface level stuff that makes us feel good because we went out and we threw our fists in the air and it's like, okay, cool. That's not the work. It's good, it's helpful, but that's not the work. It's not the changing of the laws. That's not the changing of who's elected. That's not doing the things that will actually get us to a place where things are different. And so, on top of that, to remember that all these events that we're seeing, there are people in the center of them, not just nameless blobs. They're people with families and lives and hopes and dreams, and they're people. And so, a little bit of humanity goes a very long way.
There's a lot of humanity in this movie. I know a lot of people who know about the movement and who were very confused about what it was all about, and I hope that this clears up a lot of stuff because you dove deep into it, and it's not just the outer layer of what we were watching happen or what people saw happen through the media. It's the personal story. How much did your point of view change while you were learning all this stuff?
I actually didn't have much of a point of view on Move going in. It was just,
Oh,
I knew Mike and I sort of knew the sort of person that he was, but I didn't know enough about Move to have any real opinion. But I did very quickly learn that what I saw of them as I was researching seemed significantly biased. And as a result, I knew that I wanted to tell a story that wasn't. I knew that I wanted to tell a story that looked at it accurately and completely and not the one sided way in which they were misrepresented for so long.
I'm sure you still keep in touch with Mike and his family. How do you see the way they are connecting again to be going right now after everything that the film shows?
It is lovely. Like Mike was just like a kid in a candy store, and he continues to be. And the Mike and Debbie, Mike Senior, the they hadn't seen each other for so long, but it's like nothing ever happened. They're just like teenagers together, and it's just adorable. And for them to be together after so long and to have them home with their grandkids, it's just a, a lovely thing to see and to sort of have an up close seat and to get to know them because they're just. It's not surprising that Mike is the way he is. The more you get to know his parents, because despite all of what happened to them, just happy, good people.
Well, thank you, Tommy, for this documentary. Thank you for your time, and I hope you continue to tell stories that matter to everybody.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much, man.